Oh, we're fancy. Everyone's here.
Is it safe? Can we say hi?
Yeah, say hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Greetings.
We're leveling up.
Are we actually leveling up?
I don't know. No, not for a while. You guys got a while, I think.
Fuck.
Oh,
Oh, like leveling up monthly minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're taking
Okay.
it to new heights.
I'm into that.
All right. Well, I am your GM Mystic, and this is everyone. Say hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. Introduce yourselves.
I am Daniel. I play Morgus.
Cool. Daniel, you have to get closer to your mic because we can't hear you.
How's this?
That's good. Okay.
All right. I am Daniel. I play Morgus. You might know me as Hudril Wordsmith from YouTube.
Woo!
I'll go next. Hey, I'm Liz. You might know me as the Mulan Rogue on other things. I play Scylla, the Paladin.
And I am Avis, and I play Ziba or Didi. The name still seems up in the air, but a good time.
Is it up in the air? I feel like it's solidified. It's just a memory thing at this point.
Fair enough.
Well, if you don't know, then we don't know. That's for sure. Well, cool. We're going to walk through episodes 19 through 23, I believe.
Dang.
Because we took kind of a longer break. Normally we were doing these at the beginning of the month, and this is kind of the end of the month. So we have a lot of ground to cover. But before we dive in, does anyone have anything else they'd like to add for our one listener, our lovely friend, Godfrey?
Godfrey's here. I was going to say, yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. But in this case, I really hope you're enjoying it because you're stuck with us.
No one dish any of his secrets. Okay.
Or because it's a captive audience, we dish all of his secrets.
Oh, maybe.
I'm just kidding. We wouldn't do that.
Well, I believe these do go on. Did these go on YouTube post fact?
Yeah, but they're still linked. They're still locked. I've been thinking about unlocking some of the early ones, but yeah. All right. So way back a while ago in playtime, you all were in the castle in the heat of battle with a demon / high priestess Guinevere. So the last episode we covered in monthly minutes was the first half of the battle. So we're going to talk about the second half of the battle. And most importantly, I want to start with the grovel moment because one, I was like, oh shit, Morgus is bad. And two, what a game changer for the combat, right? Did you know that, or were you just like, this is cool and I want to do this?
No, that was calculated. I was waiting for the right moment, and Morgus is built very intentionally. I choose my spells specifically, and I choose, like I have feats planned. I haven't. I have plans for Morgus, and so the things that I will choose for him, I try to make work together. And I'm also looking at party composition and stuff like that so that he can fit into different cracks and fill roles. But that part of those choices are control. He is a chronergy wizard. That is what he does. He makes things re-roll, and so to fit into that sort of, no, I don't want you to do that right now, theme, I took a feat that gave me the command spell, and I'm like, no, it's time. Grovel. So now the flavor and everything was Morgus. When he enters battle, he goes into a slightly different state. When he essentially immerses himself into his magic and the weave,
Yeah, what's Morgus's alignment? You don't have to share that.
I'm not going to share anything. What I will say is that Morgus's alignment should be obvious.
Yeah, until he goes into combat.
And there are reasons for that.
Am I reading
it? May or may not have to do with his alignment.
All right. So how do you segue from that to the next? I don't know, but we're gonna try.
I'm thinking about all of the like repercussions that power could have.
The command power?
Yeah, like, oh God, if I have too much attitude, what would I be forced to do?
So I debated whether or not I wanted to share this because I feel like it's not spoiler at this point. When I was building my character, knowing what I wanted to know about her and what I wanted to make of her, I chose that spell and you triggered it a hair because I questioned something in combat that I was like, is this going to work? And then you did it, but I was so glad you did because I think it fits better for who Morgus is and like where that would have come from. That I was like, oh damn, okay. So I think it's going to be a case of like reflavoring, but I was like, how in sync and how perfect was this kind of moment?
Yeah.
It was that particular battle was just so pivotal for us as a party. It was pivotal for the narrative. I think it really kind of settled us in place and kind of built, or rather settled the foundation upon which we're building as a party.
Yeah, for sure. And as anyone listening would know, you all have made it past this battle. Everyone survives except for Guinevere and the imps. And there's this moment at the end where I feel like it was you held off, and maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like you held off on going into your rage a little bit and then flavored it and then couldn't get out of it. And you were just like continuously what was left of this creature. I'm curious what fueled that for Didi.
Well, personally, I think this is fairly obvious. Sometimes I don't always play for like optimization, and with my rage, I don't want to invoke it just because it is super helpful in combat. I want to use it in a moment that I think makes sense for the character, because although young, you could probably assume teenagers at this point, she's not really an angry person, and so I don't like to just going into rage willy-nilly because I don't think it fits the character, and I think it should have meaning when it does happen. And also, like, it does last like a full minute, and I went into rage relatively later into the combat, and so I was like, this is still going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't just end because combat ends, and for it to be a meaningful moment for me to use rage, I feel like it should also be meaningful when it ends.
Yeah, that's so smart.
I have to say, one of the things I've come to appreciate about you at the table as a player, this probably speaks to you as a person, but your commitment to the narrative, and not just of that we're building together, but for Ziba, and your role play is impeccable. And like, when you're playing a teenager-ish maybe age character, but Ziba's impetuous, or can be, I'm guessing, because of her maturity level at whatever age she's at. And I can, even when it's chaotic, I can tell that it's calculated, and I just really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that takes
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so that's the entire Grovel episode. It's the combat. The next episode is called Cheesy Biscuits. And it has a happy ending, but it starts with you all in the precarious situation of being in the ballroom, Didi having this reaction and being in her rage still, and the rest of the party being like, we need to get the fuck out of here. People are starting to wake up. We don't want to be here. Let's leave. And Godfrey and Scylla go out the main gates, past sleeping guards, and walk through the city, while Livy and Didi and Morgus head through the gardens. And each group has a beautiful moment in its own right, right? So we'll start with Morgus and Livy and Didi, and the moment of you all like hiding behind the bushes and you prestidigitating blood off of Didi, and you rolled a nat 20 on your stealth or something.
Oh, God. I think Livy, I think he did like terribly too.
Yeah.
Or like a 3 or something.
Yeah, he's just standing there and like people can see him as they're walking by. He's just standing behind the bushes. But yeah, talk to me about that moment for you all.
I think I just enjoyed having that moment to kind of bring back anything I can to play into portray my character. It's kind of my thing right now, but I really enjoyed that when it was such a high roll for and for like Livy like to roll so poorly in comparison to be able to make like those quibs about come on, we're playing hide and seek. Like my relatives can do better than you. Let's go. I don't think we really achieved much out of the stealth, but it was a good moment nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Morgus having like a middle of the road roll, so I think there was this like, you down there? Because you did a natural 20, and then finally you spoke, and I was like, what?
I think it was right after you cleaned me up too, like got all the blood off, and then I was like, saying I was like army crawling under the bush and like covered in dirt again.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite moments. Like in that series of episodes, there was so much, but that was
This is Herman, everyone.
Oh, Herman.
Hi, Herman.
He's been very needy today. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
That's okay. Cats take precedent. That's part of their existence. Coming into the podcast when I did, I'd already had a little bit of an idea of Ziba. And I knew what I was putting into Morgus, and I had thought about ahead of time, how is Morgus going to react to Ziba and this ball of chaotic energy that she is. And that was a moment that what I remember from it overall was Morgus stepping into this. Morgus is a caretaker. He tends to make sure that the people around him are fed and warm and dry and happy, and he was doing that with Ziba. And then after the fact, I remember Livy was watching very closely what Morgus was. The fact Livy like almost, it read to me as almost begrudgingly like, thank you for taking care of. Zippy was very like older sibling protective in that moment of this new person. What are you doing? And that I loved that little story note from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you all get clean, and you walk towards the cart district because Godfrey has promised Didi cheesy biscuits. And on your way there, you pass the Fountain of Mysheria, where you notice people dropping prayers and hanging about. And there's another great, just like childlike pontification moment of you, Didi, just being like, why are they doing that? She's not listening. And like that fatherly moment of Livy like stepping in and being like, well, some people believe. I think even Daniel, you added something about you know, we don't know that. It's all kind of up in the air or something. And then you progress out of the garden down the alley where Didi found some more rats. You made it to the cart district. Yeah. The rats. They all have secrets. Cool. And then Scylla and Godfrey, while this is happening, you're walking through town. And you both have a pretty cool exchange where you're just talking about the new party members and whether you trust them or not. And it was really interesting for me to see you all. I forget who said it first. It was like, oh, Didi's great. Like, I love her. She's the child is awesome. Yada, yada, yada. Talking about that. And then they were like, but the other one, I don't know. Which is really cool. And we lost Avis from technical difficulties, but I'm sure she'll be back. Talk to me about, how you were feeling, Liz, like just in that conversation. I mean, I feel like those conversations are great and real for characters, but can be awkward when the person's like sitting at the table with you, you know?
Yeah, it's funny because when that happened, it was a weird kind of natural split off. And Godfrey's watching right now, so like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Being that we're two party members who have been at the court for a little while, it seemed kind of natural that we would get a moment to like go and kind of do an errand so that we can sort of suss out what our new situation is and kind of have a private moment. So it was really cool that we like naturally fell into that and our characters split off so that we could have that interaction. Both for me as somebody who joined a little bit later, and just for my character. Does a player write a character, I guess.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And then you were all like, he's really great with a sword.
Canon. Canon.
And now this is not spoilers. Ed has now rolled a nat 20 every single time he has used that sword in combat. And I'm getting a little suspicious, but also like I'm here for it.
Listen, sometimes the dice smileth upon us.
You're back!
Hey!
When does Levy using the sword just become a percentile roll to see if he hits, he crits, if not, he misses? You know, or a coin flip, you know, a 1 or a 20, and that's all.
Well, I'm curious to see how. Yeah, I'm adapt Livy as a character as he levels, because I wonder if he'll just ditch the sword completely. He did get a fresh bow, or is getting a fresh bow from Ulu. So it's there's a lot of interesting things about Livy.
I'm fascinated by
we're learning.
Fascinated by the bow and arrow. I'm like as a player, when I build characters, I don't know if I always optimize, but I try to make things at least work together based on whatever flavor I'm going for. And that bow and arrow, with the way my brain works, I'm like, that's either a multi-class or a feat or just a really cool flavor thing. What is it doing? What is it doing? What's going on? What's in that brain? You know, I'm just, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm so excited.
Yeah. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Has anyone ever seen Ed use a weapon?
I think you've been distracted in a lot of the combat scenarios.
I think so.
I can't place it because I think he did once, but he was in like a doorway. Ziva would have seen that, so I'm like. But we got.
I think that maybe you would have seen it at the crab battle, which we're gonna get to, because you were attacking the crab that was like right in front of him, and then he pulled out his sword.
I was behind the crab, though.
That's true.
He was in front of the crab.
Yep.
It was a giant crab too.
Oh man.
Someday.
All right, so the parties converge at the cart district. You all have a jolly good time at the Greasy Chop, the food cart.
brain anxiety.
Yeah, Didi had an interesting time. Trying to order cheesy biscuits.
Okay, that's me in real life, though. I to order something. I'm like, picture.
Ordering is stressful, though, especially when there's a very particular secret menu that you have to abide by.
And like the person running the cart was like didn't help that situation either.
Just staring me down.
He takes great pride in his work.
I didn't want to disturb him, and I knew I was gonna because I wasn't gonna do it right.
Well, and like I think Zippa was paying attention. Like we watched him turn away 2 customers just for ordering.
Like that just made it more terrifying.
Yeah. There's also the moment that I have used a quote from and also did like a little listen segment from where this is the first time that the party starts heckling Livy about the treatment of Didi.
Oh, yeah.
This is continued, but this is the first time.
I love misleading comments. Greatly enjoy them.
Is Zibba aware of what she's doing, or is she just being like candid in about her own perception of her life?
You know, I think Zibba thinks she's being candid. Like, I think Zibba think, oh, I'm just being honest, right? Like,
yeah,
like, this doesn't sound bad. But me as a player, I'm fully conscious of that. This is what I'm saying. I just like
so Zippa doesn't know how close she's getting to like Feywild CPS coming to like intervene.
She doesn't understand the concern at all. No, she's like, what's bad about this? Drama.
That one particularly like just spiraled and you all ganged up on each other, and then Morgus was like, I was like a mackerel and a spinach. That goes up. It's really funny. It's really great.
In that moment I was like, all of these people are taller than Morgus, all of them, significantly taller, because Godfrey's about, maybe not Levy is too much taller, but I was just like, I'm hungry.
Yep. And then, you know, it was just kind of like heartfelt conversation. It was really good bonding. And then you essentially there's a Grok cameo because I couldn't resist, because that's probably one of the only places you're gonna see him. And Didi hides under the table.
I'm still curious about that.
Okay, it's a large family, okay? You see someone who looks vaguely could be related, you don't know. You gotta pull up the family tree to be sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Rural Midwest, because if you've been here enough generations, doesn't matter. You could be related.
So oh no. Okay. You all head back to the drunken stump. And that is where I believe we go on to the next episode, which is called Regroup. Before everyone goes to bed, well, not everyone, I think Livy and Didi go to bed pretty quickly that night. And that's the night that Didi has a nightmare and Livy comforts her by singing a lullaby. Scylla, I think, just yeets herself straight to bed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But Godfrey goes down to the basement and takes a bath, and Morgus waits for him. And this is the first time we get a peek into a real peek into Morgus's backstory. So talk to me about your thinking there, Daniel. Was it simply just like Morgus needs comfort right now because this crazy new strange thing happened? Or was it like, I'm going to share my backstory? Or was it both, which is fair?
I think there was a thread of, I really want to put this like on stage at some point soon.
Yeah.
But it was also it was also juxtaposition next to that battle where Morgus used the command spell, and I don't remember if I described it this way, but what I meant to happen when he used that spell and when he used Chronal Shift is that his posture changes, and he like the drastic shifting of his demeanor when he's in battle like that, when he immerses himself in magic, is for a purpose. And coming out of that battle, I don't know if Morgus, as long as he's been to the court, has had a battle like that. I don't know if he's seen combat like that. So that was new for him. And he's processing the battle, and Morgus as a character is constantly processing his own existence. You know, I mean, and part of that conversation was, I could read Infernal. Last time this happened, it was Draconic. But that makes sense, I'm a wizard. You know, because at least canonically, Draconic is used in a lot of, like, arcane writings and stuff like that. Depends on the world. But and I think, like, out of game, you had asked me about how does he feel about that? Where are you at? And that was also my way of processing that as a player, because I'd thought about it a little bit, but I wanted to leave it for the table. And that's kind of where Morgus led me. Was he is an introspective character. He's so smart. He's so smart that he processes these things, and he obsesses over minutia and anyway. But he's wise enough as a character to. I think what he's doing there is trying to adjust his expectations and set his own boundaries for himself. Because I think he's learning to accept that in his current situation, occurrences like that, like being able to read Infernal and discovering new abilities for him under pressure, is going to keep happening. So without giving away too much.
Yeah. And to circle back, at least what I took from that conversation was a questioning of Morgus's alignment for himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was very much.
Yeah.
Why do I know this? I know other things, but why do I know this?
Yeah.
What's the context?
And then Adam, of course, came in with, like, the most sage philosophical thing he could possibly say as Godfrey.
Have we met Adam?
Just because you have this doesn't mean you're evil.
Yeah. And that was also the first time where we got to see Morgus's connection with Godfrey, because they do share a special foundation to their friendship.
Yeah, absolutely. You head to bed, and the next morning you all wake up. Weaver's in the water. There's a beautiful interaction between Didi and Scylla. Scylla comes down, like, in her armor, or half in her armor, and Didi's like, "Did you sleep in that?"
I mean,
yeah. I loved it. It was
Great. I'm a lot better at it these days, but, like, there are definitely some days where you've had it hard enough that you don't even take your bra off when you go to bed, or, like, you wear the jeans that you wore, or, like,
who wears a bra anymore? I literally don't think I've put one on in, like, 6 months. I don't know.
Not since all of this happened, but for sure, when I used to have to, like, huff into an office.
Yes. Even then, no.
Or days where I, like, come in, collapse on the couch, and, like, I haven't even taken my shoes off, and I wake up the next morning, like, still fully dressed.
Yeah, for sure. You regroup, you talk to Weaver. She asks you about body removal and if there's a corpse, and if you all are going to be framed for murder. And you give her a pretty half-assed answer about how you just kind of left it, but maybe the imps killed her. I think even someone's like, It's indistinguishable as a body now.
Was demon might be like ooze and ichor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like floor polish at this point.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to mop her up.
Absolutely. And Weaver offers Didi and Livy places at the court, which
One
Yeah.
of us.
We're finally making the big bucks. We don't want to give that up.
no more arm wrestling for money.
I know. We finally moved up a little bit. Added to the resume. We just got our first paycheck and tried to take a bunch of it. Come on.
Yeah, well, you don't give her an answer at that moment. Instead, she hands you another mission, essentially, about a Bigfoot problem, quote unquote Bigfoot problem, in Wimpston, where people are going missing. No one's ever seen a Bigfoot or heard of a Bigfoot, and it's very curious. And then, Didi, you go horseback riding with Weaver. Scylla hangs out in the greenhouse, hanging out with plants and with Fern, and picking on her and Gahesh for being lovey-dovey with each other.
Yep.
And then the dudes go on a shopping spree.
Yeah.
Morgus and Godfrey and Livy go on a shopping spree. And lots of things happen in that, but to keep it shortish, because we only have so much time, Morgus acquires 2 pearls in differing ways, and Godfrey acquires a basket full of random potions that Avinash, the potion seller, asks him to drink in battle. And Ed instantly is like, no, this is crazy. We're not doing that. We'll just drink them and then we'll tell you what they do. And that's not what was asked. So I think, Adam holds on to these for a while. We move into the next episode. Didi has fun learning how to horseback ride. A deer spooks her horse, but she stays on. It's really
Wasn't
great.
terrible.
Wasn't terrible. And yeah, you all try to decide what to do.
It does tend to take a lot of time.
I mean, at this point, I'm all for this party raising Zibba. That's what this is not D&D anymore. This is
No.
this is raising Zibba 5e.
It's a new kind of sitcom at this point.
Yeah. Next episode, like, she's getting more and more proficient in her horseback riding. We sign her up for dressage.
Cool.
Yeah, get her in some contests.
If she
Yeah,
survives into the next play session.
I'm gonna change the club meeting every. You know what? Can you not bring up my mistakes right now? Thank you. Now I'm worried. Okay, I was like concerned, and now I'm like a little worried, borderline scared, and it's for the next week. Thank you.
Oh, right, we don't play for a week.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. There's only an innumerable amount of enemies, but it'll be fine. Anyway,
Hate 'em, by the way.
I've already blocked out where we left off because I remember it being.
Oh god,
it's
Yeah.
fine. It's totally okay, Avis. I promise you.
I can't regret it. I told myself I wouldn't regret any decision.
No. It's totally fine.
I'll cry.
All decisions are great decisions at the time. Otherwise, we wouldn't do them.
Yeah, it's cool. It'll be good. It's what your character would do.
The higher your voice goes, the like more
I'm actually genuinely trying to be reassuring.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, well, back to where we left off. Liz has to sit out a session, being unwell, which is cool. And y'all decide to fight some crabs while Scylla, on her own, goes to the rat bounty because Scylla can handle a CR level rating 1 encounter on her own. She's the rat exterminator, man.
Fuck yeah. Fun fact, the first time I ever played D&D, a level 1 party of rats nearly nuked the entire gang.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was.
Yeah.
It's very hard at level 1.
Yeah, no, we almost straight up almost TPK'd because of these fucking... Yeah, it was bad. It's real bad. These days, all on my own.
These days. So yeah, y'all decide to go fight some crabs. And it's a long decision. We find out a little bit more in the decision-making process about Didi's sword. Because you didn't want to do the prized possession gone bounty.
Yeah. It was like his grandfather's prized sword or something is missing, and I was like, oh, someone could just, borrowed it.
Daniel, did Morgus know? Did you know that portion of Didi's backstory? Or was that the first you got the inkling that maybe her sword was stolen?
Oh, I as a player absolutely knew that.
Okay.
If I think that was the first time Morgus got that inkling. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going, yeah, it's fine. It was fine. Yes. Morgus is like, I'm not going to question that. I don't want anything to do with that. Nope.
Just remember, it was a missing poster, not a wanted poster. So, as long as you don't get caught.
Yeah.
I would be more worried about us hanging out with you. Like if anyone finds you, is like, who are you people? And what are you doing?
Hey, Alexa, play Runaway by Bon Jovi.
No! I'm so glad I have a Google Home and not an Alexa. Anyway.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I changed my command word for mine to computer because I'm a Trekkie and a nerd. And I have to mute the listen when I watch Star Trek now because it will pick up every single computer. And it there was one where it actually answered from Wikipedia or something. And I was like,
that's very Star Trek. But cool. Yeah, so you decide to go on this mission. You're walking down the beach, and Livy has this epiphany because he is a lore bard, and any history checks he does, he's just gonna be the boss at, about the type of demon this was and where they came from and what they're about. It kind of gives y'all a download. And while that is happening, you hear voices yelling in the distance. And you start to discover small little crabs dancing on the sand at your feet. And Didi and Livy are just like, these crabs are sweet. I don't care about anything else. And you run up and you find all these giant crabs around a young boy and a turtle druid hanging out on the edge, saying that he wants to kill the boy for eating his family and that he has no name because he's a crab. And I would love to know your thoughts at that moment. Prior to Godfrey's actions, what were the two of you thinking about this situation you had gotten yourselves in?
I think Morgus was waiting to follow Godfrey's lead on it to see if we were going to rumble or because Godfrey eventually went to be like, snatch, run. We'll take care of this for you. Bye. And at that point, Morgus was like, I mean, I remember my first thought in combat thinking, okay, I need to break his hold. And then if he doesn't, I don't want, like, strategically, there's a spellcaster raised up and off the battlefield. I don't know what spells he has. So I think I tried to use command, but he...
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, Mind Whip. I tried to use Mind Whip, and he saved, and I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, that was where Morgus was like, which way are we going here? Are we running, or are we, getting our claws in this?
Yeah. What about you, Avis?
For the crab fight?
Yeah. Were you just like, I want to ride the crab?
That was the initial thought, and I had to follow through on that.
You
I
did.
managed to grapple it, so that
You did
was
get on top of it.
a success. Because once the thoughts in it, once the impulsive thought, let it go. That would not make sense. Okay, let it go. I have to see it through. Ready crap in that case. Some of my other plans keep this in mind for the future. Some of my other impulsive plans don't always follow through. I was very proud of it. And then
I think we got through.
Crabs.
Yeah. I think we got through like 3 or 4 rounds of combat before you even like tried to attack the crabs.
I really did not want to attack the crabs. I really did not. These pet crabs are just, they're cute. I'm kind of sold on this crab. I would really like to not kill the crabs. But then that gradually did not become an option.
Yeah. Yep. But you did ride it. It just flipped over on top of you after you did that.
Like most impulse decisions. Was that well, it's the fool's greatest teacher. And
in Utopia, crab rides you?
Weird. I thought you said crab rang you at first. And then I was like, wait. Crab,
no,
okay.
I said in Utopia, crab rides you.
Yeah, I got it. I got it eventually. It came around.
At least that time my own sword didn't hurt me again when it fell on top of me. I think wins, I get it.
Adam says no one wanted to harm the crabs. That's true. No. Libby especially didn't want to harm the crabs, and then Morgus just starts boiling them in their shells. Alive.
The moment Morgus was in the claw, he was like, "I'm not having this. I'm not having this right now." And then there was, I think there was the moment where like I was in the claw again, and there were 2 of them, and I'm like, I'm gonna burning hands this because no,
yeah,
I am not strong. Because he has like an 8 strength. Morgus is not the most physically strong person, so he's like, I need to make them drop me. Cooking time. I'm gonna bring some crab back for Weaver.
Yeah. For the Patreon people, I shared a screenshot of the end of the battle on our Patreon. And if you looked at that, there were like scribbles of green like stuff coming out of the crabs. That was my indication during the battle of which crabs were cooked. Which ones weren't. It was my visualization of like steam coming out of the shells. Which I thought was great. But honestly, Godfrey bossed that fight. That moment, if he would not have failed that hold person save, there wouldn't have been a fight. Like, they would have tried to chase you maybe 1 or 2 rounds if you all would have initiated. But if you just would have dashed away, there would not have been a fight.
Yeah.
There was one moment where he was held in a claw and another crab came and pinched his arm. Like, just...
He just monked his way out of it.
He did.
You know, by the way, if you haven't had a monk in your party before, GM, that's gonna happen a lot.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love being in parties with monks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
And that takes us to the end of the released episodes.
Oh,
I'm so excited for the next one.
the next one's gonna be so much fun.
Oh,
Yeah. I forgot that one hadn't aired yet, and I was like, oh yeah,
is,
we can't yet because they don't know.
that's when we got on the roller coaster ride.
That episode, I personally, the soundscaping that I did, that's what I call it. I don't know what the professional term is, but the what I did in that episode makes me so happy, and I hope that it makes everyone else happy too.
I'm sure it's
Shit.
masterful.
It's gonna be absolute shit. It's gonna be terrible, awful, rotten.
What's wrong with us?
It's been nice knowing you guys.
Okay, so we do have some questions.
Hey!
We have listener questions instead of me just making up questions. So
I mean, your questions are great, but
yeah. So we actually got 2 questions from Cam, our old party member who played Keg in our Discord. He's still in there, hanging out.
Keg.
And he wants to know what every character's favorite kind of soup would be. Avis, your face.
Remind me of what? Because we were not a soup. So I had to think what's a soup?
Soup. So soup is a hot liquid that can't be stacked. If that helps narrow it down.
A cup of cauliflower could be a soup.
Cup of cauliflower could be a soup.
I'm so excited for that.
I think Scylla would probably go for a mulligatawny soup. A little bit spicy, a little bit earthy.
I don't know what that is. What's a mulligatawny soup?
Thank you.
So, okay, I saw it a lot on menus in like Britain, and I suspect it's one of those Indian dishes that has been taken by like the softer British palates. Because it's spelled the way one would spell a Scottish word, but I know that the spices and the name that it's derived from are Tamil. But it's mulligatawny, so it's like a spiced potatoey, like South Asian lentil-y potatoey soup. It's really good and spicy and warming.
So I should order some curry right now? Is that what you're telling
Absolutely.
me?
Yeah. Curry is like, that's what I like live off of these days. Just with like taste buds and shit. But no, get on the mulligatawny soup. It's banging.
Nice. Morgus.
I have actually given this thought, and overall, like heartier, like a good stew, I think, but like specifically like a potato soup with like some bacon, stuff like that, maybe a little bit of cheese or something. Like something you can chew a little bit. That's just a comfort food. I think the guy really likes carbs and starches. And
Well,
stuff
yeah.
like
I mean, that's pretty obvious.
that.
You carry croissants around in your backpack.
Dude, I made a mango blueberry compote to just bring with me. Here you go, Ziba. After we just killed it, you know, I
live for it.
My character for you.
Yeah. All right, Avis. What is Didi's favorite soup?
I'm gonna say not a huge fan of soup because I eat it all the time, especially. And I'm gonna say something like squash soup that she eats the most.
Sounds good.
That tracks.
It's actually pretty decent, but it's only like one ingredient, which I think would track for a large family. Large quantity with little ingredients.
Yeah.
Probably gets really samey the more you eat it.
Yeah.
It's like my upbringing. I had like 3 dinner options because my mom worked like evening shifts. She's like, this is what we're making. It's one of the 3 things. What do you want?
Yeah. My family had like a schedule. We'd rotate like the same 7 meals. Oh, yeah. It's really interesting. I still do that now as an
never
adult.
had soup.
Yeah.
My dad ate it.
Because you had the rotation.
Yeah.
I'm on video. Hey, stream. Cool. That just
Tips are optional, but if you want to
The thing is, I told him this is happening in the time frame earlier today. Anyway, okay, so Cam also wants to know if your characters had jobs in the real world, what would they be?
I feel like saying exterminator again is too obvious because that's kind of the role that I've assigned her in game. Elementary school bus driver.
That tracks. Oh my gosh! Like from moments in game that I don't think have released yet, that tracks.
Does that feels right, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I think I had Scylla as a bus driver when I was in elementary school.
I can't
think
stop
I did
picturing
too.
the bus driver
felt
from The
that in my-
Simpsons.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. I
Like
think
the
that's
sad music in your earbuds the whole time to drown out the children screaming and fighting in the back.
Yeah, I'll like probably hit like my vape pen in between shifts. The money's really good, and I don't mind the kids, but I don't want them.
To just pick them up and then.
I'm also trying to get my light back on. Sorry.
No, it's okay. This is off the rails. All right, Morgus.
This is like, I feel like with Morgus as a wizard, specifically chronergy wizard, I think the biggest part of his personality would lead him to be a physicist.
Okay.
That's like almost hokey, but he would probably have like an Instagram for all of the baking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and like somehow combine the two and like make it educational.
He's Jurgen off the Bake Off. He's a physicist, but
Jurgen.
I love
Yeah.
Jurgen.
right? He's Jurgen. He's
Oh,
a
no.
maths guy. He's a physicist, but he
I
also
need to
does a
go
wee bit
back
of
and
baking.
Watch that season again. I might put some in Morgus now. That tracks. So yeah, physicist with an Instagram for baking. Oh no.
Avis, what kind of profession would your character have as a child?
The rogue, offhand job. Nothing. The under table pay. So like this age we're legally.
I feel like you could work at your family farm. Like,
do they have an equivalent of like roguing? Like, do they have an equivalent for that? Like, what kind of crops are we talking?
Yeah, it's called like gig economy. You just you do bits for people that need stuff done, and you got a network that trusts you.
Yeah, if
and
they
you
have an
get shit
equivalent,
done.
I bet she does that all summer long. And
There's
hates
absolutely
it.
a real life version of that.
Oh yeah.
It is. It's a real thing. It's a common
Mhm.
job for people in my town. To get it when you're like 12 to 14.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Yep.
jobs you don't have to be 16 to work. And you just
Yeah. The
All the, like,
classic
crappy
ones are, like paper delivery person or
Yeah,
like,
paper.
those are the ones that are coming to my mind because I
I
You guys
bust
want to know what my
tables.
first job was?
Yeah.
I started working as soon as I got my license because I had to pay for everything once that happened, like my gas and clothes and stuff. And I milked cows.
oh
Your faces! I knew that
That's
was
so
a reaction.
wild.
well,
What?
the first
Okay, well,
thing
no,
that
first off, I thought robots did that. First off,
Only on like very fancy farms.
aren't
you got
all that like equipment and machinery is very expensive.
admittedly, I don't know a whole lot about farming.
So I put machines onto the cows, but I had to get the cows in and clean off their udders and put the machines on and make sure none of the things fell off into poop. And then, yeah, it was dirty and gross. And
job.
Yeah, I bet it's
Well, no,
gross.
it's
That's such a
definitely
wild first
those kind of
job.
jobs.
My
Gross.
Yep.
second job ever was mucking horse stalls.
Oh yeah, I did that too. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
My first job was soccer refereeing.
I bust tables and made lattes.
You're lucky.
She was a teenager I was jealous of. I was a dishwasher, and then
Hang
I was
on.
like a busser. But I
You're
wanted to work in a coffee
privileged.
shop
No, I'm just
so
kidding.
bad.
No.
I'm just
But
kidding.
I also worked for a Chuck E. Cheese type place that, because I was the only one small enough to get into like the climbing frame that the kids got up in, was the one who had to go and retrieve the diapers the kids took off.
Oh,
Yeah, see, I just lived in a small fucking town with no coffee shops. That's a lie. My partner actually worked in the coffee shop in high school and made coffee.
Did the farm that you milked cows for deliver the milk to that coffee shop, and that's how you met?
No, we met not in that town. Well, we met way older. Anyway,
sorry.
It's okay.
This is turning into our post-session hangout.
It is.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know what happened to me. I mentioned the bus driver.
I think it happened with the towel walking through, which is a common thing that happens in session, but not
to our Patreon.
streaming. Cool. What was I saying? Oh, it's just because I lived in a small town and I was in 4-H and I grew up on a homestead and I like rode horses and shit. And my mom was like, "This guy needs help. You should help him." And so I did.
That's how you get all the jobs.
That's it. Yeah.
That's so wild.
All right, we have one more question. We'll go around the room. This one's from Loch Ness Mobster, who we all know.
Yeah.
Hey.
Her question is, I'd love to hear about their favorite / lucky dice. And I know this is a big can of worms to open for these people, but you can only pick one.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll go first, I guess. So for Scylla, I've been rolling Dispel. I don't know if you can see that. Dispel dices. Shit, I can't remember the name of it now. It's one of the new released ones. But so like all the stuff that I use for Scylla is kind of those mossy, minty tones and like pinks and mauves. So I'm trying to stick with that for my palette.
Cool. Davis, we talked about your dice recently. Do you have any that you're particularly attached to, or are you just like their dice?
These are all the dice I own. That's all of them. It's just
beautiful.
5.
Yeah, they look great.
We're gonna improve that.
That I found and I needed them that day.
It's a matter of time before we foist dice upon you, Zippa.
I think I mainly use like purple and like a little. I don't know. This is bad lighting.
That's okay.
It's like super hard to show dice in streams.
Yeah, it's got like a little bit of blue shimmer to it. My favorite color, so I just usually use those ones. I don't know. I don't think they're lucky that much, but
yeah,
they can grow on me. I don't
Daniel,
have
did you pick just one?
No.
I figured you didn't.
I'm limiting myself to one palette, Morgus's palette, which only has 3 sets of dice.
Okay.
Of the 3 sets, I built a palette for a wizard a long time ago, of exclusively dice from Emerald Sun. This is a shameless plug. Everyone go follow Emerald Sun Dice on Instagram. Amazing top tier handmade dice. But it's blue, white, and gold. But there's one set specifically that are like all these really cool swirls, like dark blue swirls and gold sparkles, and they're very glitter bomb, which is very Morgus. So if I had to pick, that's not the best visual, but this design is called Eternal Wellspring from Emerald Sun Dice. So that's probably my favorite of the 3 that I think fits Morgus the best.
Nice.
How dare you limit me?
I have one. I don't roll it ever because every time I roll it, it fucks me over. And I've been told that this is my fault by the creator of these dice. But our dear friend Steph from Arcane Hollows made me a custom set of dice based off of this picture of a snail I put into our Discord channel that I really liked. And so this is the D20 from that set. And it's really cool and pretty.
They're so pretty.
It's one of my favorites she's ever made.
It's just for me. She didn't make any more.
And she never will.
And I love them. But like I said, every time I roll that dice, I roll under a 5. So I don't roll it. I just look at it. And then I roll every other Arcane Halls D20, and I have like 8 of them now.
We call those story rolls.
Except for some reason at the crab battle where I decided to use those rainbow dice I have from Cozy Gamer, and I just crit the whole fucking time.
Curse you, Cozy Gamer.
Yeah.
I got new Cozy Gamer dice in the mail today.
Yeah.
So good. I'll take pictures.
Yes.
But they're so good. The quality is so good.
That's one of the other benefits of our Discord is that we do tend to like just unload our dice picks and our palettes and like any other streams of consciousness around our characters. Our playlists, we started developing like playlists.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
very picky about what goes on.
looping.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looping Morgus's playlist, and I realize it's really just a bunch of like vibey type songs and like 2 Billie Eilish songs. It's all vibes. No brain, just vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it very much has that sense of Morgus.
All right. Well, I asked you all a shitload of questions. Before we close, does anyone have any questions for me?
You're not gonna kill me, right?
I'm not gonna intentionally kill you. I just like joking with you about it because you take it so personally.
I get my characters.
Like when I said, when you recklessly attacked in the crab battle, I said I was marking you for death. You were like, oh no. But really, it's just, I put an indicator on your token so I knew my attacks were at advantage.
I take characters seriously. I don't have backup characters.
Right.
This is it.
I only almost killed one character ever in an actual campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And I say almost because she was actually dead, but then in this campaign is Liz's character. And in this world, every resurrection, no matter what, no matter if you use a spell or you go to a cleric or whatever, what have you, has to be soul for soul. And it worked out that one of the party members had an extra soul to give.
Just tucked in their back pocket, ready to go when the cat made a really bad judgment call.
Yep. Cat versus dog. Dog won. Robot had extra soul. It's fine.
That's literally what happened. It sounds crazy, but that's the truth.
It's literally what happened.
Wait. I have a question. What is Weaver's favorite soup?
Oh. I feel like Weaver's go-to would be like a minestrone with like a hearty sourdough on the side for dipping.
I could see that.
She makes a
sauce would be
good
good.
sourdough.
Mm-hmm. What did you say,
Weaver
Amos?
No, we don't need to get into that.
I didn't hear what you said. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and if we'll see you next month at some point in time for our 7th month of monthly minutes, which is crazy. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, have a great day.
Enjoy your cup of cauliflower.
Bye.
Bye.